this is what it looks like on our graph. So the A value you see is a high peak. So it happens a couple seconds in the run for acceleration. And then you see the velocity curve. So you see a peak that's a little bit slower to reach that peak velocity. So you hit your peak accel before you hit your peak velocity. It'll measure a little bit higher. Here's an example of this. So this is an example of the initial velocity not being 0. So initial velocity actually being maybe 10 miles per hour or so, and then push to 20 miles per hour or 22.
Brought in nicely by Yosepo. Hacked out the back. Alzora comes into the fray and keeps it alive. Lovely 1-2. And now Carlin Isles in the red headband.
That ref wasn't that bad either. If you saw that, he was pretty close to him. So yeah, that's an initial velocity of, let's say, 4 or 5 meters per second, and then push up to, 10 or 11 meters per second. So that's still an acceleration. It doesn't always have to be from 0. Okay, so question is, who are you picking on your fantasy team? So athlete A, they hit 22 miles per hour with an acceleration rate of 3.6 meters per second squared. Athlete B, 21.78 miles per hour with an acceleration rate of 4.6 meters per second. Ideally, I would choose athlete B for football or any acceleration-based sport. If it's track, maybe, I don't know, maybe athlete A. But for any sport that involves acceleration, short accelerations, under 20 yards, those types of things, you're going to want to go with the athlete that has a better acceleration rate than an athlete that just has a higher top-end speed. Sometimes they go hand in hand, but sometimes they don't. Guys like John Ross, they have a crazy high acceleration rate, but their velocity is, probably similar to a couple other guys in the league. You're not going to see them pop up on the highest next-gen stats readings for GPS in the NFL. He'll be like top 10. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you have a high max velocity that you have a high acceleration, even though you could.